very good evening to you. It is the 9th of March 2014. Welcome to KTN Weekend Prime this Sunday evening. Hoping to start off your week in a more informed way. Of course, we'll be having our analysis on Checkpoint today, so do make a point of joining us. Today we're discussing the big issue of the wage bill. The SRC starting that public conference and debate tomorrow. They will be going to the counties a little bit later on this month to, of course, talk about how we can bring down this cost, this recurrent expenditure in government. And of course, the president kicked it off by announcing a 20% pay cut for himself and his deputy, as well as not a similar amount, but about 10% for his cabinet members. Today we're discussing that. There have been varying views. Is it populist? Is it a step in the right direction? Is he leading by example? Is this the only way we can tame public spending? And of course, our discussions have already begun on social media. That's on Twitter. So if you want to engage in that with us a little later on, please do use the hashtag Checkpoint on Twitter. You can also engage with us on our SMS line. It is 22155. My guest tonight, the Vice Chair of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, Daniel Ogutu. We'll be having Wanjiru Gikonya from the Institute for Social Accountability. We'll have Jasper Mbiuki. And of course, live from Kakamega this evening, we'll have Senator Boni Halwale. Good mix, politicians, civil society, and the people in focus, the SRC. So keep your comments coming in. We'd love to engage in this debate. But let's get to our top stories first. And indeed, we start on a sad note. The week is beginning with tragedy as an accident along the Nakuru-Eldoret highway kills 14 people. 6 other people were injured in the accident, which involved 3 vehicles. KTN's Asha Mulu begins our bulletin tonight with the details of Kenya's latest road carnage.
This piece of mangled up metal was a 14-seater matatu filled to capacity. It's now the main piece of evidence from a horrifying accident scene and its occupants, the victims. Survivors can only attempt to piece together the puzzle of this crash that claimed at least 14 lives. It involved a truck and a matatu, both heading towards Nakuru on the Eldoret-Nakuru highway, and a probox driving in the opposite direction.
It's like tuligonga kutoka nyuma na lori. Venye tugonga sikujua venye ilienda juu, nilikuta nimelalewa mkono, alafu kajaribu kuvuruta, ndio passerby wakasema this man is talking.
In Timboroa, a household that was filled with laughter has now gone into grieving. 7 of their family members were traveling back to Nakuru after paying dowry on Saturday afternoon. They're among 10 passengers in the matatu who died on the spot. 3 other passengers succumbed to their injuries while in hospital. Only those in the probox escaped with minor injuries.
Tukiwa kwa gari ndogo ndio tuliona trailer imerudi control, ikaingia kwa gari kwa Nissan na ikaingia kwa gari ndogo, ikaingia kwa magari zingine mbili ndogo. After hapo sasa ndio tuliona Nissan imeroll na watu tukaanza kuona maiti zingine zikiruka.
So kutoka tu hivi nikakuta niko miguu mitupu. Kuangalia nyuma nikaona viatu zangu ziko hapa. Nikazichukua, nikavaa, but turning, all I saw were bodies.
Just a day earlier, police had recorded another accident in Imali caused by a motorcyclist who was attempting to overtake a bus. 1 person died and scores others left with serious injuries.
We had only that one who was very critically injured, who we wanted to take to Kenyatta National Hospital, but unfortunately he has passed on.
Such scenes are, however, becoming all too familiar, especially on this specific spot in Salga. It was blacklisted as the most notorious stretch for accidents last year. More than 27 accidents were recorded last year alone on the 12-kilometer stretch between Kibunja and Salga along the highway. More than 3,000 people died on our roads last year, leaving the Ministry of Transport and the Traffic Police under the spotlight. By the end of February, the ministry said that the statistics had shot down drastically owing to the ban on night travel without permits. But with black spots such as Salga still claiming innocent lives, it appears the headache is far from gone for the government. Asha Mwilu, KTN Weekend Prime.
Tension remained high in Nyakach as clashes between communities along the Nyakach-Belgut border entered the third day. Dozens of houses were torched as families continued to flee their homes for fear of attacks. Residents of Nyakach, who are accusing the police of laxity in efforts to restore peace, barricaded the Kisumu-Kisii Road earlier in the day.
For several hours, the Kisumu-Kisii Road remained impassable as Nyakach residents barricaded the road, protesting attacks by raiders suspected to be from Kericho County. This as the clashes between communities along the Nyakach-Belgut border entered the third day. Deputy Inspector General of Police Grace Kaindi toured the area to assess the situation. Two separate security meetings were held in Kisumu and Kericho counties. A joint meeting of leaders from the two counties was also held.
Officers have been deployed across the border, all the way from Holo, Ngege, Cherwa, Kibog, and all those areas surrounding across the border.
But as leaders preached peace, on the ground, peace remained elusive. More than 50 houses were touched. Dozens of residents in Nyakach have fled their homes, seeking shelter in schools and shopping centers.
Sasa sisi tunauliwa na kuna mtu anasaidia sisi. Tunahangaika na watoto na mali zetu zote, hakuna mahali cha kuweka. Sasa hiyo shida ndio tuko nayo, tunaomba serikali atusaidie.
Sasa hii hakuna hata maji, hata chakula, watoto anahangaika tu.
Nyakach residents are blaming the police for failing to contain the situation.
Walikuwa wanapiga toraba bullet juu. Wanaona watu wanatenda kitu ndio kile wanavunja. Badala wapige huyu mhalifu, wanapiga juu.
5 people have died since the clashes began on Friday.
Some of them were very elderly men who could not take off on their feet when the warriors struck.
The clashes that have left several people injured are said to have flared up after raiders from Belgut constituency made a retaliatory attack on a village in Nyakach following the killing of 2